All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Good evening. Please turn your phones off. Welcome to the January 21st, 2026 regular meeting of the Eureka Springs Historic District Commission. I am Debbie Davis, Chair. Commissioners present tonight are Dee Bright, Peter Grammont, is it Graham? Graham, that's what I thought, and Corey O'Hara. Frank Green and Susan Daniel are out with notice. We have a quorum for business. The Eureka Springs Historic District Commission is empowered by the Eureka Springs Municipal Code to issue a certificate of appropriateness for alterations of exterior architectural features, demolition, and new construction within the boundaries of the Eureka Springs Historic District. The HGC uses the Eureka Springs Historic District Guidelines and the U.S. Department of Interior standards for the rehabilitation of historic buildings as the basis for our decision. The Commission can take the following actions on an application: approval with modifications, denial, or deferral for more information. Appeal of denial may be made to the Circuit Court. Public comments will be heard on each agenda item as it is called. Other public comments will be heard during the public comment period. The purpose of the HDC is only to approve applications based on exterior architectural features spelled out in our guidelines. I want to remind commissioners that we do not consider the following due to these not being under our area of jurisdiction, which include the size of the structure, the setback of a structure, parking, number of units, how the demolished building material will be disposed of, drainage, sewer line capacity, putting in retaining walls unless it's on the application. Discussing these types of issues only confuses the public in thinking we have jurisdiction over these types of issues, and we do not. Most of this is up to the city building inspector applying city codes. Reminder, new residential structures do not go to the Planning Commission unless they are asking for a variance. Tonight's agenda. We have no old business. Under new business, we have a level 2 at 207 Spring and a level 2 at 28 South Main. Are there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda?
I have a correction. That first item should be 203 Spring, not 207. So if we could change that to 203.
All right. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Dee made the motion and Peter made the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Did you vote, Debbie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Approval of applications does not excuse applicants, owner, or agent from compliance with any other applicable codes, ordinances, or policies of the City of Eureka Springs. The agenda tonight. We have a level 2 at 203 Spring, Marcia Yearsley, owner. Is there someone here to represent this application?
Yes, thank you, Debbie.
Would you state your name and address?
Excuse me, yes. I'm Marcia Yearsley, owner of 203 Spring Street.
All right, I'm going to have Peter read the facts of the agenda, or of the application.
Which part is it? We're reading this one.
It's this one.
Okay, so the facts.
Yeah.
This one right here.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Right, all these?
Read the summary of facts.
Summary of facts.
Summary of facts. So there's one thing that says cover asphalt shingle roof with a corrugated metal roof to match 207 Spring. See photos as attached.
I move that Eureka Springs Historic District Commission issue a certificate of appropriateness for the proposed work at 203 Spring Bay on agreed-upon summary of facts as presented.
Second.
All right, do we have discussion?
Well, I just wanted to present my application here. The last major roofing approval I had was in 2023, which was a renovation and rebuild of a house that burned on East Mountain. It was a very substantial application, but it did include approval for replacing the exact roof which had been installed there 2 years before by Dennis Alexander of A&M Roofing. And here's the material exactly, and these are the certificate of appropriateness. It was approved, as was this roof as far as this particular material. And, you know, I'm not technically versed the way a roofer would be, but this is a low rib panel color chart, low rib panel metal roof. And so when I came with this application, we had Jeremy Tesh. He has done probably 5 roofs for me over the last, he only does metal roofing, over the last 10 years. There was a whole series of metal roofs that he did at the Joy Motel when I owned it. They were all this exact same material, and they were approved. At that time, there was a different building inspector, of course. At the time that this was approved, and this was a pretty big application, it took 2 readings, the previous building inspector, can't even remember his name now. Everybody knows who he was. But anyway, he approved this whole application and installation with no problems. So then we went forward, and the last metal roof I did is next door to the property in question at 207, and that was also approved, and it's the exact same roofing. It's a different color. So I, in all innocence, had no idea we were talking about something completely different. It was briefly mentioned at the hearing last month. And so Jeremy, who is the roofer, and he has done, I think, 6 roofs for me now, as well as my brother, who's a contractor, would like to tell you why the request that you all have for a standing seam. Oh, the other point I want to make is I talked to Dennis Alexander, the one who did all the roofs at the Joy, back in 2017, and he said, and he had gotten all my applications for all the roofs he did for me at the Joy, plus this one on Hazel Street, plus I think there were 2 others in town. He told me that he had always gotten approval based on whether the property was residential or commercial, and at the Joy Motel, because it was commercial, there were no requirements. This kind of roofing was absolutely, there was no need to talk about standing seam, is what he told me.
Okay.
So this property in question is commercial at 203 Spring. It is commercial, just as a point of reference. And so my brother Steve and Jeremy would like to tell you why, as contractors, they feel like a standing seam would not be applicable or really basically even possible.
The commission would like to discuss that if we can. The commissioners, please.
Before they talk?
Well,
Well, they just want to tell you, I mean, especially Jeremy.
Well, we need to discuss it as a
we
commission
need to
first.
discuss it if you want us to vote on it.
Excuse me?
We need to discuss it as the commission.
Do I need to leave the room?
No. You may stand right there.
Thank you. No, I'd rather sit down. I think I've said what I need to say, and I brought my proof of the certificates that were issued.
Okay, we have a standing still seam. The home at 207, when it was approved, was standing still seam. It was not put on as standing still seam. I was sitting on the commission at the time, but at that time, that building inspector did not do what we had asked him to do. So I can't undo that. But we can enforce what our code says now, and we must have standing still seam. And that is how I understand it. my other commissioners can express how they understand the codes.
Peter?
So that was just what we spoke about last meeting, is what was stated in the Historic District book, based off of what they deem as historic code for in the Historic District, especially on Spring Street. And that's why on the application this time, we stated that if it was to be a metal roof, it had to be standing seam because of the appearance of it. All roofs are functional, including corrugated roofs, corrugated metal roofs. They function well, but it's more about the appearance, and that's why we're here as a Historic District Commission, is because to keep the town historic, there's guidelines that the state approves and doesn't approve, so that we can continue to keep, buildings that are applicable for the town, that keeps it historic and charming.
And I can tell you the standing sill seam, I can't go back to how many years, but Glenna was our person in the mayor's office, so it goes back many years, because she did us a chart, which was in your application. I noticed that chart was there, and I'm like, oh, great, there's that wonderful chart that shows us exactly what's allowed, and it's standing sill seam.
Can I ask a question that you may know the answer to?
Let me see if the rest of the commissioners have any other comments. Corey?
No.
No. Christine, do you have any?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So, with all due respect, can you tell me where there are some standing seam roofs on Spring Street or any historic district home in Eureka Springs? Because Dennis said he did not know of any particularly.
13 Armstrong.
I think there's one on East Mountain.
The newest one near me that was installed 2 years ago is not a standing seam, and it went through a huge amount of approvals. The white one, the modern white house with the big columns next to the Piedmont.
I think that the issue is we can't go back in time and change things based off of what other commissioners and what the previous building inspector didn't approve. We just have to follow what's current with what's stated in the book. And if another example of a standing seam roof is 13 Armstrong, right on the corner, the yellow one, the Neo-Mediterranean one with the red roof, that's a standing seam roof that was installed. The house was built in 1995.
I can give you two other roofs. I don't know their addresses. One's on Main Street, and it's Becky Gillette's home, and her home that she lives in right above me. Those were all standing steel seams. And she was one of the first that started asking for standing steel seam or for metal roofs, and that's when this start came up, and that's when standing steel seam was, the research and all was approved.
She lives near you, doesn't she?
Yes,
I remember
right above
her.
me.
She wanted a white roof or a light
Yes,
white roof.
and that's what she has.
And then in the book, the Historic District book that we follow, that tells us the guidelines to follow, under the guidelines, it says applicable for residential preservation guidelines for roof and related features. C says, if the roof is currently standing seam metal or historical evidence shows the original roof material was standing seam metal, a new standing seam metal roof is an appropriate replacement. The roof must be a true standing seam design subject to commission approval, which means that means if we deem it to be applicable, then we could approve it or not. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all standing seam roofs would be acceptable. So we're just basing it off of what's stated in the book.
Marcia, has this house ever had a metal roof on it at all?
No, and I replaced the roof down to the bones about 10 years ago, and the moisture and the tree overhang and everything else about that location, this roof has denigrated. It was a 35 or 50-year, shingle, textured shingle roof, and we put new decking. We tore it down to the bones, and it has denigrated like absolutely. I've never seen anything like it. And there's a lot of tree overhang in that area, but it's very, very damp. Extremely holds moisture on that particular corner because that rock ledge that's also partly on my property is like a waterfall. Every time it rains, it'll be running water for days. The spring that comes out from under the library. And that's the only thing I can think of that makes that so humid there on that particular corner. But no, it has a regular fiberglass, 35 years. I don't know if it's a structural shingle. I don't know that.
All right, thank you.
My brother would know because he spent a lot of time. We've had some bad leaks there this summer.
Well, I'm right below that area, and yes, I have a lot of tree cover, and I don't know how old my original roof was, but it was at least 30-some years old, and I put in a new standing, just the shingles, and I think it has a 30-year warranty on it, and right now it's doing really well, but we do have a lot of shade in this town. It's not just in that area, it's all over. And in Arkansas, we just have a lot of mold,
Yeah, this
moisture,
roof-
rot.
This roof has literally moss
Yes.
on the newer shingles. I mean, moss between the, I'm not going to
I
spend
have-
money putting another fiberglass roof
Well,
on.
I have that over at the border house, but it also grows on the metal roofs. It's called maintenance. We have to maintain our properties in this environment that we live in. I mean, there's a payoff to live in this beautiful wooded area, and that's it, the mold and the rot, and it's a constant maintenance.
Yeah.
And I've lived many places, and this is the worst as far as maintaining a home.
Roofs.
Yeah, I
Yep.
myself just had to replace a roof about it was a year and a half ago. Roof just leaking straight inside the bedroom. Same thing, had to rip everything down to the bones. But she's right, it is that maintenance thing. You have to be on top of that, because if you don't, it's just going to add more and more problems. Foundation, the plaster starts cracking. Once the water gets inside the interior of the home, it's just going to destroy it.
And he bought the home that Todd Mayberry used to own. So that tells you, and it's up higher on Spring Street, down from you, but it's up
Yeah.
higher, but still lots of trees and shade.
Well, anyway, I'm just asking for the commission to consider these points that may not have been obvious. And Jeremy, when I called him and we discussed it after this whole shutdown came, he told me things that I would like for him to share with you just about the structural feasibility on that structure of doing standing seam. And he's with Northwest Construction, and they've done a tremendous amount of work around here, mostly rural, like for Red Bud Valley and places. So that's all he does is metal roofing and metal construction. So do you have time to listen to what he has to say?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
that's
short.
This is part of my
Keep it
appeal.
short.
And Steve actually came with pictures of the house around the street, but you already have acknowledged that that is not standing seam, even though it's a recent roof.
Oh, I don't know which house you're talking about.
The
The
white
one-
one, Dee knows. She just, you know the white one next to the Peabody, the brand-new one that's had so many controversies about
The
the
Peabody.
Piedmont.
Okay, I was going to
Hello.
say the Peabody's
The
over
Piedmont,
on
I'm a little
Armstrong.
And did I hear you say, I wasn't able to really hear, did I hear you say that I didn't get permitted by Jacob on the one next door at 207? Because he was over there every day while that roof was being put on.
Well, the original one that was put on was
207 next door.
a few years back. So if you,
Well, yeah, it was 2 years back. It was
no, a few. I don't remember 2 years.
I don't know what Jacob did or did not approve as far as
Yeah.
building permits, but the application that was made to the historic district and the COA that was issued said standing seam. I have a copy of the application.
for 207?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it
Yeah.
approved?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what, I mean.
It was,
because-
See,
it was approved for standing seam, though.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is we're not the enforcers. We're the ones who just follow the guidelines. So then on our application, on the COA that comes through, if it's stated raised seams, then that is on the the current building inspector to enforce it or not. And it sounds like, I mean, based off of the picture that was submitted during this meeting, is there's a stop work order, which means our current building inspector agreed that it doesn't follow the Historic District Commission guidelines, and so then they have the ability to approve it or deny it. So there's been controversy with previous building inspectors, but that's prior to the current situation.
But
that-
he didn't issue any stop work order on that.
Well, that's we can't
He came
discuss
over,
that.
He was watching me
Marcia,
like
I
this.
have your original application here of October 7th, 1920. 207 spring,
Wait.
re-roof, new material, true standing seam. And this is, I assume,
Say-
your handwriting,
Did you say 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
2020.
6 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
God. Well, but what I'm saying is, did I get a C of A for that? Because that's when Jacob was there coming by every day. And
You did get a C of A, but it said for a standing seam, metal roof. Correct?
So it was kind of like last week, the meeting before this, when you came and asked for approval with the COA. We gave you approval for a COA to put a metal roof on your structure, but our metal roof structure approval was a contingency that has said, if you do raise seam, you can have a metal roof on your house. Well, it sounds like what happened was that when there's a stop work order, because the metal roof was approved, but instead of it being raised seam metal that was installed, it was a corrugated metal, which I stated for number C. The rest of that says, a metal roof with flat, exposed, quote, screwed down fasteners is not an appropriate design.
Okay, I think I'm fully aware of what you're saying.
Okay.
So it seems like I may be the first person who has installed the traditional metal seam around town where there's now, well, there are more of this kind of, what is it called? Low rib panel. There are
Low
more of
rib
these than
corrugated
there
metal.
are of standing seams. Well, can we concur with that?
I can't tell you how many are done properly or improperly prior to this meeting. All I know is we've listed a couple, and I told you 13 Armstrong, the one with the red roof, the Neo-Mediterranean that's on the hill between Douglas and Armstrong. That's a raised seam roof. So you asked if there was any in town in the historic
Yeah,
district that are, and there
I didn't
are.
know.
So
So there's two.
The goal
There are two we know.
would be to continue to do what's best for the historic district. I mean, ideally, we would love to go back in time and take everything back to make it historic and charming, but that's not realistically possible. We can only deal with current situations.
And I have your application original and what was approved. I happened to be chair at that time. I signed it. Our secretary was Maggie Haid. You were supposed to put in a standing steel seam. What the building inspector let you buy with,
He might not have realized.
well, it was realized because I can tell you Steve Hollifield sent me pictures and he and I went and took pictures of the metal standing in the street there on your curb and we protested, but I can't make the building inspector do the correct thing. But this is what we approved, and if he let it by, we can't go up and roof it, but we can control if it ever happens in town again. It is not supposed to happen in our historic district. And we
Obviously.
took a vow.
Obviously, I get that.
I think we're going to have to call the vote here, because I think we've had enough discussion.
Yes.
Did you want your contractor to
Yes.
say a
because
couple of words?
He's very adamant that
Okay.
a standing seam would not be suitable in the house just because of the grade of the roof and the way. Well, I'll let him tell you what his professional
All right.
opinion and stance is on it.
All right.
And of course, we just went right ahead and started putting it down because we have so many leaks, and it was raining every other day when this all was going on.
I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's Jeremy.
Would you state your name and address, please?
My name is Jeremy Esch. I live in.
Make sure you speak into the microphone.
My name is Jeremy Esch. I'm in 1295 Madison, 8325 Hinesville. I've got Northwest Construction is my roofing company. Yeah, just a few things on that roof. I've sent pictures to the metal manufacturers, and because of the condition of the roof, there's a lot of ups and downs in it. It's probably 2 or 3 inches of variation. The standing seam, they said they would not recommend putting that on this specific roof because of the locking system, and the ups and downs in the roof would cause issues in the long run. So,
So can I ask some questions?
Sure.
So was the inside underneath the shingles, because I see that there was 1x4s for the battens that were placed
Yes,
on
sir.
top of the shingles. Was the underside of the roof inspected, like in the crawl space or in the attic? Because based off of the pictures we have, even with the current side that has metal installed, it looks like like along the ridge beam, it looks like it's sagging.
Yes, sir.
So was there a consideration that it needs to be brought back all the way to the sublimit, like so the plywood has to be replaced too? Is it that much damage to where that regardless of what roof is put on, it's still going to have damage?
So structurally, I think it's in the rafters and in the, not necessarily it's because of the plywood, the rafters would have to be replaced as well because of the ups and downs in it. Old timbers, they start to sag and because of, it has like a 3-foot overhang, those drop off pretty bad.
Okay. So it's due. So the reason why they would not suggest doing standing seam is because of damage that's done to underneath of
Correct.
it, not due to the actual grade of the slope of the
Correct.
roof. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, commissioners, are we ready for a vote? All right, we've had, what? I'm sorry.
I don't know if they want to speak or not.
Did you have a public comment? Did you have a public comment? You need to go to the podium, please.
You need to go to the
sorry, you need
podium
to-
and state your name and address.
Yeah.
I'm Stephen Yearsley. I live over on, well, we were at Hazel and now we're at Nut Street,
Okay.
like 21 Nut.
21 Nut Street
Yes,
is
yeah.
your address? Okay.
Yes.
And what did you have to say? You can show us from there.
We can't hear you unless you're at the mic.
You have to speak to the
You have
mic.
to speak in the mic to be recorded.
Oh, yeah. So look, so basically the process, let me just explain to you so you understand. So there's a recording that's happening. So we have to document everything. So if you're not speaking into the microphone at the microphone, then we can't record the minutes. So when you can explain everything, and then after you're done explaining what you're going to show us, then you can come up to us and show us the pictures. That way we can also see it.
Oh,
Does that make sense? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure you understand. Just because people are new to this, so I just
Thank
try
you,
to help
Peter.
people understand.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no
First
worries.
time you've never
Exactly.
done
No worries. That's why I'm just
Okay.
trying to help.
Yeah, I've very few words, just a few visual aids for this house around the corner. That was all. It's all done in this
What house are you talking about?
this R panel. I don't have the. It's one.
Can you speak into the mic? I cannot hear you.
Certainly. This right next to the Piedmont house. It's was recently refaced, and they put all new columns in and redid everything, and they put this roof on. And if I understand correctly, the concern was the exposed screws weren't in compliance, and can't see any exposed screws. So I was just offering as a visual aid. And there's a lot more roof on this than what 203 has.
It's just, we have to go by our guidelines. If that's the charge that we've been given by the city. We have to stay in compliance with the historic district guidelines. Like Dee said, we cannot go back and redo something that someone else did as far as a building inspector or anything like that. This is our charge for what we're doing today.
Okay.
We have to go by the guidelines.
Okay.
And so, like, to answer that question, like, if that one is the raise or the corrugated metal with exposed screws,
Yes.
then we would not have approved that if this current board was on. And to answer the question, then that's
Well,
where
Debbie,
we sit.
I think I can help a little bit
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at that time, I believe that's 159 Spring, and at that time when it was approved in 2020, the guidelines at that time said that true standing seam was allowed for all structure types, and lap panel steel was not allowed on residential, but was sometimes allowed on commercial and sometimes on new structures at the commission's discretion. So at the time, the commission may have approved that for that structure, it being new construction. However, our current guidelines, which were approved 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they do not make any room for anything but standing steel seam if you want to do a metal roof, unless you can prove that that is the historic roof that was on it.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to call for a vote. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed?
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 All right, motion fails.
I don't have to do anything.
No, no. Marcia, if you'd like to come back with a standing seam roof, if you're,
Am I still on camera?
yes.
So what I'm understanding here, and excuse me if I'm wrong, is our roof is half finished. Material is on half the roof, the edgings, the drip edges, everything. The other half is lapped and ready to be roofed. The material's on site. So I'm understanding that according to HDC guidelines and your jurisdiction, I have to take off all of the roof that's on there. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then if I want to put a fiberglass roof on top of what's there, I can do that. Is that right?
That would
And my
be
only
in the
recourse is to
guidelines.
get a lawyer and go to circuit court, is that right?
That would be how you appeal the denial, yes.
Yes, so that would be my next, at this point, with half a roof finished, all the material paid for, all the good intentions in the world, and the first time this has ever been brought to my attention that maybe I wasn't in compliance with C of O's in the past or C of A's in the past. I just want to make a point that, frankly, I'm astounded because I've been remodeling here since 1983, and I've never infracted any rule or had any charges brought against me for not complying with city ordinance. And I've been through some horrendous experiences with past building inspectors, but
And we understand your frustration.
you don't understand.
We really do,
Debbie.
but
I'm sorry, you don't understand. This isn't frustration. This is just downright. I'm astonished
Yeah, well-
that you wouldn't help me out at this point just to get past a difficult position I'm in with a man who's hasn't even been paid for his labor, just the material, so that I could go on and comply with your. If I ever want to do another metal roof in the city. I'm ever,
I understand, but we have to abide by our guidelines.
but just only tonight.
But can I-
nothing,
can I
nothing
speak about-
past counts.
Can I say one thing too? Because
Peter.
the thing was
No,
Okay.
no.
You can't.
All right.
He can't talk. He
No,
can't?
we've already made our motion, we've done a vote.
I thought you were open for comments.
You can make public comments,
I just made a
but
statement
we
because I'm
can't talk back to your statements after the motion's been made.
Right.
well, like I said, I'm astonished. I really am. And good night, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is a Level 2 application, 28 South Main, John Bordeaux, applicant for window replacement. Is someone here to address this application?
John Bordeaux, business address 70 South Main Street, Eureka.
Peter, would you read the summary of facts?
Yes, summary effects. Replace 2 large display windows and 5 transom windows with 2 large display windows. See email and photos. Should I explain the photos at all or no?
No.
No.
No. All right. Do I have a motion?
Just a moment. Up
Sure.
at the top, would you read the construction date and that it's a contributing structure into the
Oh,
record?
sure.
So,
Please.
Okay. So the property address is 28 South Main. It is, construction date is 1890, and it is contributing to the historic district, and that is the scope of work. Replace 7 windows with 2 windows.
Thank you. I move that the Eureka Springs Historic District Commission issue a certificate of appropriateness for the proposed work at 28 South Main based on the agreed upon summary of facts as presented.
Second.
Dee made the motion, Christine seconded. Do I have any discussion?
I think I'll start off by just reading the guidelines for replacement here. If replacing a historic window with divided lights, install new windows with true divided lights to approximate the original appearance simulated divided lights attached to the interior and exterior of the glass are appropriate alternative on side or rear facades. Do not remove or alter the original window casings. If the casings have damage that is beyond repair, match the materials profile and details of the original.
All right, any other discussion?
Why do you not want to replace these as original?
So the issue is with the outside weather, cold, and the inside, barista work, restaurant work. There's a lot of condensation, a lot of moisture that rots out that trim. And I guess my question today is, I barely got this application in time, so if I have to send another one or defer or whatever, I'm more than willing, because we're not starting the work till after Valentine's Day, or we don't want to start the work till after Valentine's Day.
So you are willing to defer and discuss this?
Yeah, this is what I wanted to get some guidance today on, was the structural design is just poor as far as moisture, just hitting all the 7 different windows of trim. Well, I guess it's actually maybe 8 now that I think about it. But all that trim around the window just collects water, collects ice, and what I want to do is, instead of a structural trim, do like an aesthetic trim. So just 2 windows, and I didn't put that in the application. That was more of kind of an afterthought, and I accept that. But instead of having to frame out every single window, just have 2 large window panes, and then put an aesthetic trim that would basically simulate what it is now, to where it would look the same, but it would be much easier to maintain in the future. If we ever had any rot on the trim, we just have to take that outer piece of trim, inner piece of trim off, put it right back. It'll just save us a lot of time and money and effort in the long run. So I guess I'm hoping we can do an aesthetic trim instead of a structural supporting the windows trim, because with the outside weather, the inside condensation, it just makes it difficult to maintain over the long term.
Cassie? If he defers this and sits down with you, do you think we could come up with the solution?
I hope so.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't
John?
expect it to get passed today on my current application.
Yeah.
Cassie's been helping me, but I was
So-
bothering her so much. I didn't want to keep bothering her, so I figured this might have to come up next February 4th. But I was just looking for some guidance today on if aesthetic trim would be an acceptable
But do you
compromise.
guys have any recommendations for him, or just to have him sit down with Cassie and?
So my only concern is the fact of when we hear about the moisture in the inside of the building, does that have to do with the humidity of the building not having proper ventilation flow?
Well,
Because
we put thought into that, and we hope that putting a double pane energy efficient window will kind of mitigate some of that condensation, but there's no guarantee. So we'd probably take it one bite at a time. If we continued to have condensation, we probably would put a vent hood above the barista station. But the owner wants to redesign the bar. She's not sure where she wants it to be. So what would be kind of an, I guess, a long-term versatile plan, flexible plan would be to do, like I said, the large pane and then just an aesthetic trim to kind of simulate what we have now. Honestly, I think it would look better, be easier to maintain, and yeah.
But you're also setting along on the creek that's running underneath us here. So that's an issue too with moisture.
Absolutely. No, that we've seen, there's an opening right there below that window, but we also have the same issue in the back next to the kitchen. So we're hoping that just replacing single pane windows with double pane energy efficient windows will do a majority of it, but I also manage parts unknown, and they have no cooking, no barista work, and they deal with some similar issues, and it is just a large pane window. So it will likely take some sort of exhaust fan or something like that.
But I just recommend, if you can, just sit down with Cassie and come back to us on February 4th.
Can I get any kind of guidance on whether an aesthetic trim would be acceptable, or does it have to maintain its...
I think that guidance needs to come from Cassie.
Okay.
She's our city liaison. I will tell you, though, a lot of these older storefronts like this had a canopy over the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have two over 22 South Main.
Yeah, and...
Right
that
next door, right?
Yeah.
See,
Yep,
And that protects the windows from the elements.
sure.
So I think that was the main reason that a lot of them did that.
Yeah, the cold in the shade and the warm inside, I think, is a big part of it as well. Just the difference in temperatures, because it seems to be worse in the wintertime than the summertime. But, and I don't know if more shade would be better. I don't know. I've already talked to Jennifer Cross about putting an exhaust fan in there, but we were just kind of one bite at a time plan.
Sure.
And that's understandable, and that's where it comes to the hard situation, because for us, we're the exterior appearance of the building.
Yeah.
So for us, we're looking at that as the 1890 contributing structure. So the appeal is what we're looking at, and I would say structurally, or what you're saying is like you would hope to try one thing over the other, but my question is if there's still a lot of humidity in the inside of the building, if it's filled with argon, isn't there still a higher chance of ability for it to fog out if there is any type of leaks or anything like that
If
too?
the seal failed, I would
Seal.
say so, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, if the seal to the window failed, but that would be the only issue, which I guess might be a better reason to have more, but Harrison Glass and I just kind of came, just as far as contractor work, and if we ever had to replace anything, wood-wise, I mean, 4 window trim pieces is a lot easier than multiple windows. We'd have to take windows out just to do any repairs, and it would just make it easier on the building owner and the property owner.
Also some suggestions too, I'm sure you are familiar with, like, soaking your primer with turpentine, getting it deep in there, preventing
Sure.
rot from sooner,
Sure.
like back priming.
Yeah,
Most
choosing the
of
right
these people
wood.
who are doing trim and doing exterior work, they're not back priming their siding.
Oh, no,
So
I
like
definitely do,
you know,
absolutely. Especially around gutters and windows and seals, yeah.
Amazing.
All
Cool.
4 sides.
We would suggest,
All 6 sides.
if you're okay with deferring this,
Yeah.
we would suggest you get with Cassie
Okay.
before the next meeting, and let's see what you can work out.
And update your 7 windows to 8, because
Yeah.
you do have 8
Yeah.
over the door there.
Okay, Cassie?
John, I've made a note to look into that aesthetic trim question.
Okay,
So hopefully
perfect.
when we meet, I'll have an answer for you.
Perfect, yeah, no worries.
Okay.
That's good with me.
Okay, thank you. And
Thanks, John.
Thanks for coming
Thank you.
tonight.
No problems, thank y'all.
We have no consent agenda items. Those are level 1 and 2 projects.
Debbie?
Oh.
We should vote on, amend our motion for deferring and
Oh, okay.
for February
Let's-
4th.
Let's amend that motion then.
Okay, make the motion for defer for February 4th.
Second?
All right, Dee made the
Christine,
motion, Corey seconded, or Christine?
Christine, if she
Christine
was-
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. All right, the consent agenda, there were no consent agenda items, which are level 1 and 2 projects that the city preservation officer believes to be in accordance with the design guidelines. Any commissioner or member of the public may move any consent agenda item to the regular agenda for discussion. We have 5 level 1 administrative approvals by the city historic preservation officer, and those are all on our website. All right, under commission business, do we have minutes from the January 7th?
Peter?
No.
Okay. All right, we will wait on those then. Our next meeting is February 4th, 2026. Level 3 applications are due Thursday, January 22nd. Level 2 applications are due Wednesday, January 28th. Do we have any agenda setting for the February 4th meeting?
to discuss, just add treasure to the agenda, please.
Any public comments?
Paul, you got comments?
He said no.
No? Okay.
We need help.
All right. Commissioner comments. Dee?
Okay, I want to remind everyone, Preservation Boot Camp, the floor here in the auditorium will be January 29th, 30th, and 31st from 8 a.m. till 3:30. Okay, one thing I read said 8 p.m. and I knew that wasn't right. Okay, and Sunday, you're not going to do Sunday, you're just doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday this time. So if anybody contact Paul or Peter or
Cassie? Could they tell?
Cassie, just show up on Thursday, next Thursday, not tomorrow, but the next week. And we're trying to get the whole floor done, correct, Paul?
Yeah, we don't have the full amount of material this time to do the full completion of the floor.
So you can speak when it gets over to you on it.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Corey?
I do not. Stay warm and safe.
Yeah. Christine?
Nothing.
Okay. Peter?
So I could just comment a little bit about the floor preservation that's going on here in the auditorium. So that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 8 to 3:30, each of those days. But we would just love any help that we can get. We're all doing this volunteer. We're taking off of work to be able to help preserve our auditorium floor. If you're busy one of those days or all of those days, and you even have a couple hours to show up and even help us scrub the floors for a little bit, or offer a helping hand, that'd be great. I know Paul's done a lot of good work going over to talk to the high school, getting some students to join us. So please come out. It'd be a good time, and then you can have more education on how to do passive floor restoration.
What are the times again?
Sorry?
What are the times again?
The times?
Yeah.
It's 8 to 3:30.
Okay.
8 to 3:30 Thursday through Saturday, and that's the dates are, what's the date?
29th, 30th, and 31st.
Yes. Okay, 29th, 30th, and 31st of January. So next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And this is also with Main Street.
Yes, Main Street.
We've bought all the deal stuff. Bob Yap, we brought in last year in April to do this. We did our little section, learned a lot, and now we want to get some more done.
All right.
Save this floor.
Thank you all for your patience with me tonight. It's going to take me a little bit to get back in the swing of things here. And do I have a motion for adjournment? Oh, Cassie, do you have anything?
I just want to encourage everyone to watch the weather. We're supposed to have a pretty big cold front and storm moving in this weekend, so be safe and take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do you make the motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Christine seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.